What if I told you that the carrot tops you threw away this morning could have fed your family for months? Or that onion bottoms sitting in your trash right now are worth more than the seeds at your local garden center? Most gardeners are literally throwing money into the garbage without even knowing it. Stay with me because what I'm about to share will completely change how you look at your kitchen waste forever. Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Serene Green Gardens. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found us because we're all about growing abundant gardens without spending a fortune. And to my returning green thumbs, thank you for being part of this amazing community. Today's video is honestly one of my favorites because we're diving into something that sounds too good to be true, but I promise you it's 100% real and ridiculously simple. Before we get into this game-changing information, do me a small favor. If you genuinely find value in what we share today, just tap that like button. It helps more people discover these money-saving garden hacks. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button because we drop new budget-friendly gardening wisdom every single week. All right, let's get into this. Here's something that might sting a little. The average gardener spends anywhere from $50 to $200 every single season just on seeds and starter plants. Now, there's nothing wrong with buying quality seeds, but what if I told you that you're already sitting on a gold mine of free growing potential? Every week, the average household tosses out vegetable scraps that could regenerate into full-blown crops. We're talking actual food that grows back, completely free from things you'd normally compost or trash. The cost of ignoring this? Hundreds of dollars every year and countless meals that could have been on your table. So here's what we're doing today. I'm walking you through 10 crops that will literally grow themselves from your kitchen leftovers. No fancy equipment, no greenhouse, not even a big garden. Some of these will blow your mind because they're sitting in your refrigerator right now, probably looking a little sad and wilted. But here's the beautiful part. That's exactly when they're ready to give you a second life. Let me show you how nature designed these plants to be basically indestructible. Crop number 1, green onions or scallions. Let's start with the absolute easiest win you'll ever get in gardening. Green onions. You know those white roots at the bottom that you always cut off? That's pure magic right there. Here's what makes this so incredible. You literally place those root ends in a glass of water on your windowsill. That's it. Within 3 days, you'll see bright green shoots pushing up. Within a week, you've got brand new green onions ready to snip and use. But here's where it gets even better. You can do this cycle about 4 to 5 times from the same roots before they lose steam. Think about that for a second. One bunch of green onions from the store, maybe $1, gives you 5 bunches worth of fresh onions. You just turned $1 into $5. And once those roots start getting tired in water, plant them in soil and they'll keep producing for months. The trick nobody tells you: change that water every 2 to 3 days. Fresh water means faster growth and zero sliminess. Room temperature water works best because cold water shocks the roots. I keep a small glass on my kitchen counter and honestly it's become part of my cooking routine. Snip what I need, let it grow back, repeat. My last store-bought bunch was 3 months ago. Crop number 2. Romaine lettuce, and this one feels like actual sorcery. You know the base of the lettuce head that you would normally toss? That stumpy bottom part with about 2 inches of growth? That's your ticket to endless salads. Place that base in a shallow dish with about ½ an inch of water. Put it somewhere with decent sunlight, maybe a sunny windowsill or under a grow light if you're fancy. Here's what happens that genuinely amazed me the first time I did it. Within 2 days, you'll see tiny leaves emerging from the center. By day 7, you've got a small but legitimate lettuce forming. 2 weeks in, and you're harvesting baby lettuce leaves for salads. Now, full transparency here. Will it grow back to a massive grocery store head of romaine? Probably not. But will it give you continuous baby lettuce leaves that are actually more tender and flavorful than full-grown lettuce? Absolutely. The secret is harvesting the outer leaves and letting the center keep producing. It's called cut and come again harvesting, and it's how you turn one lettuce base into weeks of fresh greens. After about 2 weeks in water, transfer it to soil for even better results. I've had romaine bases produce fresh leaves for over a month. Zero cost, maximum flavor, and it looks beautiful on your counter while it grows. And hey, if you're already thinking about which scraps you've got in your fridge right now, perfect. That means you're getting it. But don't go anywhere, because the next one on this list is something you probably use every single day, and most people have no idea it can regrow. Plus, I'm going to share a weird trick at the end that makes all of these grow twice as fast. Stick with me. Crop number 3, celery. Celery works almost identically to romaine, but here's why I love it even more. That base you cut off, it's incredibly resilient. Same process. Shallow dish, half an inch of water, decent sunlight. But celery has this cool party trick where the center starts pushing up these bright yellow-green leaves that eventually turn into full stalks. The timeline is a bit longer than lettuce, about 2 to 3 weeks before you see real progress. But once it gets going, it's unstoppable. The new stalks won't be as thick as store-bought celery, but they're packed with flavor. Perfect for soups, stir-fries, or anywhere you need that celery punch. Here's the insider move. Once you see roots forming on the bottom, usually around week 2, plant that base in rich soil. Bury it so just the new growth is showing. Keep it watered, and within a month, you've got a legitimate celery plant. I started one celery base last spring, and it produced fresh stalks all summer long. That's easily $30 worth of celery from something I almost threw away. The mistake people make? Not changing the water enough. Celery roots get slimy fast, so fresh water every other day is non-negotiable. Also, don't let the water get too warm or too cold. Room temperature is your sweet spot. Crop number 4, garlic greens. All right, this one is ridiculously easy and wildly underrated. You know when garlic cloves start sprouting green shoots in your pantry? Most people think that means the garlic's gone bad. Wrong. That's actually the beginning of something delicious called garlic greens or garlic scapes. Take any clove that's sprouting, doesn't matter if it's 1 green shoot or 3, and place it in a small glass with about an inch of water. Make sure the water covers just the bottom root end, not the whole clove. Place it on a sunny windowsill and watch the magic happen. Within 3 to 5 days, those green shoots explode upward. They grow fast, like you can almost watch them growing fast. Once they reach about 6 to 8 inches tall, snip them off about an inch from the clove. Use them exactly like you'd use chives. They have this mild, garlicky flavor that's perfect for scrambled eggs, pasta, salads, basically anywhere you need that subtle garlic kick without the intense punch of raw garlic. And here's the kicker. After you snip them, they grow back. You can get multiple harvests from the same clove. Eventually, the clove will shrivel up as it exhausts its energy, but by that point, you've gotten weeks of fresh garlic greens. I always keep 3 or 4 glasses going at once so I never run out. Pro tip: once the clove is completely spent, you can actually plant it in soil and it'll eventually form a new garlic bulb. That takes months, but if you've got the patience, boom, free garlic. Quick question for you amazing people. Which one of these are you most excited to try first? Drop a comment and let me know. I genuinely read every single comment and I love hearing about your garden wins. And if you're getting value from this, smash that like button. It truly helps us reach more gardeners who need these budget-friendly tips. All right, let's keep this momentum going. Crop number 5, ginger. Ginger is one of those crops that people assume is complicated. It's not. If you've got a piece of ginger root with little bumpy nodules on it, those are growth buds and they're ready to grow. Cut a piece that has at least 2 or 3 of those bumps, let it sit out overnight so the cut end dries slightly. This prevents rot. Then plant it in a pot with rich, loose soil. Bury it about 2 inches deep with the growth buds facing up. Water it well and place it somewhere warm with indirect sunlight. Here's where patience comes in. Ginger is slow. You won't see anything for 2 to 3 weeks. Then suddenly a green shoot will poke through the soil. Once that happens, it's smooth sailing. Keep the soil consistently moist, but not waterlogged. Ginger loves humidity, so if you live somewhere dry, mist it occasionally. The real payoff comes 3 to 4 months later when you can start harvesting. You don't have to dig up the whole plant, just carefully push aside some soil, snap off a piece of the ginger root, and cover it back up. The plant keeps growing, and you keep harvesting. One piece of grocery store ginger, maybe 50 cents, can produce pounds of fresh ginger over time. Bonus, the young ginger shoots are edible too. They've got this crisp, spicy flavor that's incredible in salads or stir-fries. Most people don't even know those are edible. Crop number 6, potatoes.
Potatoes are almost too easy and they produce ridiculous amounts of food. If you've got a potato that started sprouting eyes, don't throw it out. Those eyes are baby potato plants waiting to happen.
Cut the potato into chunks, making sure each chunk has at least 1 or 2 eyes. Let those pieces sit out for a day so the cut surfaces harden slightly. This, again, prevents rot. Then plant them in a large pot or directly in your garden. Bury them about 4 inches deep in loose, well-draining soil. Within 2 weeks, you'll see green shoots emerging. As those shoots grow, keep mounding soil around them, leaving just the top leaves exposed. This is called hilling, and it's the secret to getting tons of potatoes. Each time you hill up the soil, the plant produces more tubers underground. 3 to 4 months later, the plant will start flowering and then die back. That's your signal. Dig around in the soil and you'll find fresh potatoes. The yield is honestly shocking. I planted 4 potato chunks last year and harvested over 20 pounds of potatoes. That's months of roasted potatoes, mashed potatoes, potato salads, all from scraps I almost composted. The variety doesn't matter. Russet, red, Yukon Gold, whatever you've got works. And here's something cool. If you accidentally leave a few small potatoes in the soil, they'll sprout again next season. Free potatoes forever. Crop number 7, sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are similar to regular potatoes, but even more fun to grow because they produce these gorgeous trailing vines. Take a sweet potato and place it in a jar of water, propping it up with toothpicks so about half the potato is submerged. Place it in a sunny spot and wait. Within a week or 2, you'll see roots growing from the submerged end and green shoots called slips sprouting from the top. Let those slips grow until they're about 6 inches long with several leaves. Carefully twist off a slip from the potato, making sure it has some root attached if possible. If not, no worries. Place that slip in a glass of water until it develops roots, which takes about a week. Once you've got good roots, plant it in a large pot or garden bed. Sweet potatoes love warmth and sun, so they're perfect for summer growing. The vines spread like crazy, which actually looks beautiful if you've got space. After about 4 months, the vines will start yellowing. That's harvest time. Dig carefully and you'll find sweet potatoes hiding under the soil. 1 sweet potato from the store can give you 5 to 10 slips, and each slip can produce several pounds of sweet potatoes. The math is wild. You're talking about potentially 50 pounds of sweet potatoes from 1 grocery store sweet potato that cost you maybe $1. We're almost there, and honestly, these last 3 are my personal favorites because they're fast, forgiving, and you can grow them year-round indoors. Plus, that fast growth trick I mentioned earlier, I'm breaking that down right after we cover these final crops. You're gonna want to hear this. Crop number 8, basil. Basil is stupid easy to regrow, and it's one of the most expensive herbs at the grocery store. If you buy fresh basil, you're paying $3 to $4 for a small bunch. That same bunch can become 20 plants if you do this right. Take a basil stem that's at least 4 inches long. Remove the lower leaves, leaving just the top 2 or 3 sets of leaves. Place that stem in a glass of water on a sunny windowsill. Make sure no leaves are touching the water because they'll rot. Within 1 week, you'll see tiny white roots forming along the stem. By week 2, those roots are substantial. Once the roots are about 2 inches long, plant the stem in a pot with good soil. Keep it watered and in bright light. Here's the beautiful part. Every time you harvest basil, pinch it right above a set of leaves. This makes the plant bush out and produce even more stems. 1 stem becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, and suddenly you've got a full basil plant producing fresh leaves all year long. I started with 1 grocery store basil bunch 2 years ago. I now have 6 thriving basil plants that I propagated from that original bunch. I haven't bought basil since. I make pesto, caprese salads, pasta dishes, all with free homegrown basil. Crop number 9, cilantro. Cilantro works similarly to basil, but with a slight twist. Take fresh cilantro stems about 4 to 6 inches long and remove the lower leaves. Place them in water just like basil. Cilantro roots a bit slower than basil, usually taking 2 weeks to develop good roots. But once it roots, it's a beast. Plant it in soil, keep it watered, and harvest the outer leaves regularly. This encourages new growth from the center. Here's the cilantro secret nobody talks about. It bolts fast, meaning it goes to flower and seed quickly, especially in hot weather. But that's actually perfect because those seeds are coriander. Let some plants go to seed, collect the coriander, and you've got a spice rack staple for free. Meanwhile, keep propagating new cilantro stems from the plants that haven't bolted yet. I always have cilantro at different stages, some for harvesting leaves, some going to seed for coriander. It's a continuous cycle that costs nothing and produces 2 different kitchen staples. Crop number 10, lemongrass. Last one, and this might be the most impressive because lemongrass is ridiculously expensive at stores, and most people don't realize how easy it is to grow. Buy a few stalks of fresh lemongrass from any Asian grocery store, place the base of the stalks, where the roots would have been, in a glass of water. Within 1 week, you'll see new roots forming. Within 2 weeks, you've got substantial roots. Plant those rooted stalks in a large pot or garden bed. Lemongrass loves sun and warmth, but it's surprisingly tolerant of different conditions. Keep it watered and watch it explode. It grows fast and thick, producing multiple stalks from each original stalk you planted. After 2 months, you can start harvesting. Cut stalks at the base, leaving the roots intact to keep producing. 1 stalk becomes 10, 10 becomes 50. I planted 3 lemongrass stalks 2 summers ago, and I now have a massive clump that I harvest from regularly for teas, soups, curries, everything. The flavor of homegrown lemongrass is so much more intense than store-bought. Plus, the plant itself is beautiful, with these long, graceful leaves that sway in the breeze. All right, promised trick time. Here's how you supercharge all of these crops. Diluted liquid fertilizer in the water. When you're regrowing things in water, add 1 drop, literally 1 single drop of liquid fertilizer to the glass. This gives the plant a nutrient boost that accelerates root development and shoot growth. For crops growing in soil, use compost tea. It's free if you compost your kitchen scraps, and it's pure plant gold. Soak compost in water for a day, strain it, and water your plants with that liquid. The difference in growth speed is mind-blowing. Also, temperature matters more than people realize. Most of these crops root faster in warm water, around room temperature or slightly warmer. Cold water slows everything down. A sunny windowsill naturally warms the water during the day, which is why it's such a perfect spot. All right, here's the big picture that I want you to walk away with. Growing food from kitchen scraps isn't just about saving money, although that's a huge benefit. It's about shifting your mindset from consumer to producer. Every time you regrow something, you're taking control of your food supply in a small but meaningful way. You're also reducing waste, which is huge. Think about how much organic matter we throw away every single week. All of that could be feeding us instead of sitting in landfills. It's a simple act, but it's powerful. And maybe the best part, it's ridiculously satisfying. There's something almost magical about watching a shriveled piece of ginger or a sad lettuce base transform into a thriving plant that feeds you. It reminds you that nature is generous and resilient and always trying to give back if we just pay attention. So, here's what I want you to do. Pick one, just one, of these crops and try it this week. Start small. Maybe it's green onions because they're so easy and fast. Maybe it's basil because you love fresh herbs. Whatever speaks to you, give it a shot. And then come back and tell me how it went. Drop a comment with your progress, your wins, even your failures, because we learn from those too. This community is all about supporting each other and sharing what works. If you loved this video, hit that like button and share it with a friend who's into gardening or wants to save money on groceries. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We're dropping videos every week that'll help you grow more food, spend less money, and fall in love with gardening. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I genuinely appreciate every single one of you. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and remember that the best gardens don't cost a fortune. They just take a little creativity and a whole lot of heart. See you in the next one.